Because if we take up for ourselves, we go to jail. If we don't, we die.
This is a racist-ass country. We're in a racist-ass state. This is a racist-ass court.
A bunch of these people made it about a black and white thing, and they don't get the results that they want. This reinforces the fact that, oh, it was because he was black. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited to announce to you guys, our goal is to get 250 kids from Prison Fellowship, Angel Tree, to go to summer camp. $200 will help one kid go to summer camp for the entire duration. If that's not in your budget, $40 per day. So let's do our part. Let's do what God has called us to do, and let's help get as many kids as we can as possible to camp like we've done every single year. Let me give you a couple stats to put this in perspective. About 5,800 kids went to the summer camp last year. About 1,200 of them gave their life to Christ. This is an opportunity for them to meet counselors, for them to make friends, to feel loved, to feel seen. All of the things that we want to give our children, we can give this to someone else's child whose parent is incarcerated. And here's another number that I want you guys to know. It's about 1.5 million kids whose parent is incarcerated right now, and over 5 million kids will experience an incarcerated parent at some point in life. Let's change this. Let's give kids an opportunity. We can do it. And I know we can do it because we do it every year. Let's get to 250. We're at 80 right now. Go to angeltree.org/Tatum. That's angeltree.org/Tatum. Let's get these kids to camp. He was found guilty of murder, which is not surprising to me. It's to be honest, it's sad that this young man decided to make that decision on that day to take the life of another person. And now he has essentially ruined his life. But I think this is going to be one of those George Floyd situations, I'm telling you. People are going to be upset that he was found guilty. When anybody that's been following the case, that understand law, that understand any of these components, know already that he would be guilty. I didn't have a question in my mind if he was going to be guilty or not, based on the totality of circumstances, based on the admissions from himself, based on the defense, based on the prosecution. And now, after the trial has happened, which was a trial that didn't take very long, after the witnesses took the stand, and you had witnesses from the defense team, they were saying that Karmelo Anthony was guilty. Karmelo Anthony was the aggressor. When you go, and I hope that this is a message for every person that's thinking about doing stuff like this. You cannot claim self-defense after you initiated a conflict. Young people, humble yourself and don't walk around with such a grudge on your shoulder that you are in the wrong and you cannot listen to feedback from your peers. You shouldn't have been in a tent. You shouldn't have had a knife at the school. And you shouldn't be threatening to stab people because you don't want to cooperate with common practice. You just gonna walk around and say, I can do whatever I want to do, and if you got a problem with it, I'll stab you over it. That is not good behavior. Roll the news and see what else they're saying now.
A whole lot of anxiety. You know, the range of punishments, 5 to 99 years. When you hear a guilty verdict of murder, you're certainly going to see your life flash before you. Because you recognize you could face imprisonment for the rest of your life. The attorney, if you get everybody calm down, you need to start thinking of your most mitigating factors. Probably here will be age of the offender and no criminal history.
And let me ask you, while I have you, Russell, let's talk about the converse side of that. Let's talk about at the prosecution table. I have covered trials where you were the prosecutor and you secured the win in the courtroom. You got the conviction. What happens to the family of your victim in this moment? What do you say to them as the prosecutor?
You know, we're actually there's a sense of relief for them regarding the verdict being the verdict that they wanted it to be. But you're still preparing as well as the prosecutor. So you'd say, you know, brief words of comfort. The family usually experiences some degree, like I said, of relief. And then I'm probably talking to them about who our first witnesses are. Maybe I'm wanting to go get, maybe I'm bringing a mom and I want baby photos. I want the graduation that was missed. I want the life to be expanded and explained, and for people to understand just what the loss was.
Maybe his
So
twin
I'm
brother
lining up
now, huh?
people. Yeah,
Maybe the twin
yeah.
brother.
I'm lining up people to um, to emphasize the impact of the death, and
Let me
both
jump
of
in
these
here
young men.
real quick. And so let me just explain this real quick. There is the sentencing phase that's going to happen, and I honestly believe that they're going to have sympathy on him in the sentencing phase. Here's why. Because he's a young guy, no criminal record, I think that the jury is going to have sympathy. What do I think he should get? I think he should get at least 20 years in prison, at minimum. Should a young man without the frontal lobe developed in his brain get the rest of his life in prison? I don't know. It's up to the jurors, to be quite honest. But maybe 20 years or more. Nothing less than 20 years. Or this is a miscarriage of justice. Even though this guy is young and he made this mistake, which cost the life of another person, he should be found guilty. He should do a significant amount of time in prison. The question is, how much time should he do in prison? Now, the family, if it was my kid, maybe they're not as forgiving. Maybe they don't see him as a young man who made a tremendous mistake that he may regret that he did, and they may want him to do life in prison. Now, to be honest, if they gave him life in prison, I don't necessarily argue against that. I think that he should do at least 20 plus years in prison. If they gave him life, I can't get mad, man. You killed somebody. And you had no business having a knife at the school. You had no business stabbing somebody over a disagreement. And I'm gonna tell y'all this, and nobody's gonna say it because they're too cowardice to say it, or they're not black and they feel like they can't say it. It's the culture that young black men are raised in that create these situations and scenarios where they're overly violent. When you are in a situation where you have been taught white man bad, the white man is your enemy, then you react to white people differently. And this is the same thing that happened to me when I was growing up. And it wasn't from my family, it was culture taught me that. And I grew up in Fort Worth. The white man is this, the white man is that. Man, don't let them white men punk you. Man, don't white people think they better than you. These white people, white people, white people. So therefore, when you interact with white people, you have a level of animus towards all white people that's unnecessarily unjustified. And this is why you see a kid where you think, why would he be so upset about the tent thing? It's because he feel like, I'll sit under these white boys' tent. This is just my opinion. I'll sit under these white boys' tent and they ain't gonna do nothing about it. Forget these white people. I have a problem with these white people. Touch me and see what happened. Y'all ain't gonna do nothing to me. Us, them versus me. Them versus us. Then you got a knife because if they get stupid, you're gonna do something. And he did, and now he spent the rest of his life in prison. Let's check and see if there's other news outlets that are commenting on these things, because I'm sure there's a variety of reactions that are happening. Roll the clip.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a producer out there right now who is getting some of that reaction, and another camera crew who's talking to people. It's not over. I mean, obviously, as we mentioned, this goes into sentencing now, so and that's going to determine a lot. I think there was some expectation of a guilty verdict, whether it was going to be manslaughter or murder. So a lot of people know this isn't over. But just taking a look, it's dissipated a little bit from what we saw earlier. I think everybody was up there as it was, it's moved a little bit. I'm gonna see if we can point the camera that way. It's all moving to the side of the courthouse. Now, throughout all of this, I think I've mentioned the courthouse has been blocked off from anybody recording.
I'm noticing
we haven't been
that
allowed even on the steps right there, and a lot of people in the crowd are recording, and so
I'm noticing that things are not becoming violent at this courthouse. So that's one thing that I'm noticing here that I'm excited to see. I felt like it's going to get crazy. People are going to be upset about it because of the nature of it. They've made it about race, and it had nothing to do with race, at least on the side of justice. But I am shocked that nobody's getting crazy. I hope that nobody get crazy, People need to be honest with themselves. And in situations like this, I think the racial tension in America becomes heightened. And the reason I say that is because a bunch of these people made it about race. A bunch of these people made it about a black and white thing. And then when they don't get the results that they want, this reinforces the fact that, oh, it was because he was black. It was an all-white jury. This and that. And in my opinion, I think that's not necessarily reasonable. Let's play this guy real quick.
We are currently sentencing Karmelo Anthony, but we know that the Next Generation Action Network put the first $10,000 towards an appellate attorney. And we will fight Collin County like hell. I respected this process. I allowed and called for peace in this process. But Black America should be very upset about what went on today. Now, before all of the internet lawyers and before all of the interpretation of the situation, I'm only an advocacy leader. I'm not an attorney.
Oh.
I can only help families be able to navigate these processes when they find themselves in this type of situation. I can only allow lawyers to be what they are, lawyers. I can't instruct them. I can't stop them from doing anything. I have to respect the process just like anybody else. But what we saw today was flawed, unjust, and I ask that the community continue to pray for the Anthony family. I do not speak for them, but I know that the Next Generation Action Network will be here as support.
All right, enough hearing him. See, y'all heard what he said. Right. This is the problem with what this gentleman is saying. Is he not even an attorney? I forget he was just a liaison for the family. Really, he's a fundraiser for the family. Black America, why would Black America be upset about this when the witnesses were black?
Right. Yeah.
The witnesses that saw Karmelo Anthony do what he did, many of them were black. They just told the truth, man. The truth is the truth. That kid was wrong. It's okay to say when black people wrong. This kid was wrong. It's not a race thing. He's wrong. If you want to bring race into it, the black kid was wrong. But generally speaking, if you take race out of this, the kid was just flat out wrong. If this was two white kids, Karmelo Anthony was white. He's wrong. If Karmelo Anthony was black and Austin Metcalf was black, Karmelo is still wrong. And these people, they raise money on racism.
Yeah.
They raise money on racial tension. That grown man know that this didn't have nothing to do with race.
At the time of the murder, no, race wasn't even thought about.
Even during the trial, he know it had nothing to do with race.
Yeah.
But that's the only way they can raise money. That's the only way they can push a GoFundMe. That's the only way he's going to raise money to get them in the appellate court or whatever to do an appeal. They're not going to win on an appeal. This was unanimous, not even close.
Yeah.
They took no time to deliberate. Right after the closing statements, they deliberated in 30 minutes or something. I could have told you that this was going to happen. I wasn't even there.
Do you think riots are going to happen?
I don't know, man. It's unpredictable, man.
I mean, with all the teen takeover stuff, I mean, people are wanting to get out in the streets and wanting to be a part of something.
I can see it happening.
God.
I can see it happening, dude. I can see people rioting and getting crazy and everything like this, and it's not going to do anything for the black community. It's just going to make videos that I do go viral.
Right.
And everybody else on the news is going to go viral. And black people are going to just destroy their reputation and community by fighting for a kid that really, he was wrong.